finance minister is one of us, those old servants. I want you to put your hands together as I make welcome Sister Laura Alice. I said put your hands together for her. Keep clapping until she comes. Keep clapping. She's our finance minister. She wants to tell us something about the money in Nigeria, our currency. Praise the Lord. Okay, we permit you to go up. The grace is there. Don't be afraid, you will not fall.
Praise the Lord. Good morning, daddies and mommies and brothers and sisters. It is a privilege to stand before you today. I don't know if I merit it, but I want to appreciate mommy and for the privilege to minister to us. To actually talk to us, because I know I'm not a minister. So I'm not preaching. I don't know why I'm behind the pulpit. But I just hope to pick one or two things today. So I appreciate mommy for the privilege. I appreciate Daddy Jude. Thank you so much. And I appreciate everybody for your attention in advance. The topic before us, I made a few copies. I know it will go round. I don't know if it will go round rather. But please, if you have a jotter, you just might want to jot one or two things. I don't know how this will impact somebody here. It might just be one word you need or one point or something. Maybe one story will change your life. Story changed my life. I don't believe we all have to make mistakes to learn. I observe a lot and I learn from people's mistakes. There are some mistakes I see and I vowed not to repeat it. So when I see people repeat mistakes over and over again, I wonder. Before I was giving this topic, I think I was discussing with my team and somebody was like, they said you did ritual. And I'm like, ritual in the church. I said, God forbid, if I want to make ritual, I will not make ritual that will be counting the money. If I want to do ritual, those people that are doing in bills, you know those dollar in bills, why would I want to do ritual and still be counting it, carrying it in my wallet? God forbid. What kind of ritual is that one? But please, let's go into our talk for today. It's a finance talk, and the theme is the power of cash flow. Is that me? Okay, if you can hear me, I'm fine. So the power of cash flow and multiple streams of income. As we proceed, we'll be defining the terms. The power of cash flow. So the key words here are cash flow and the multiple streams of income. Please, if you have the slide, you can already share with your neighbor. Let's just move. We have just an hour, and I will want as much as possible for this to be interactive. I mean, it's not a one-way talk, and it's not like I know it all. If you put on your Google cash flow or multiple source of income, I want to believe you see many things there. So we are not here to lecture or to teach, but to see how this affects us. So what is cash flow? Some of us might mistake it for profit. Cash flow is not necessarily your profit. It is only the movement in and out of your business. So whether you make sales, how you make the sales, money is coming, how that money comes in and out of your business over a period of time, not a day. That's your cash flow. Some say it's the amount of cash or cash equivalent. It can be cash in the bank, it can be cash at hand, which the company or the business receives or gives out. Not only what you're receiving, what you receive and give out in a period of time. Now, we'll come back to why cash flow is important anyway. So let's look at the types of cash flow. We have basically 3 types of cash flow. Operating cash flow, and that's about the one that is the lifeblood of your business. The one you use for your day-to-day, the one that decides whether your business stays or not. So for a bank, you can imagine you are going to withdraw in this cash crunch. I know they burnt a lot of banks and they destroyed a lot of things. But imagine on a good day, you want to go and withdraw in the bank and there is no money to withdraw. I know you will tell your neighbor that this bank is folding. There's something wrong. And by the time every one of us go to withdraw from that bank, even if the bank is ideally not having an issue, there is no bank that can fund all its depositors at once, no. So it will crumble that bank. And what do you see in banks? You have what we call liquidity. So you just have to maintain a certain sum that will meet your customer's needs day to day. So when somebody comes to say, I want to take blah, blah million, you should be able to give that person. Because that confidence is what the person will use to keep the money in your account. I know whenever I need 300 million, If I just sign, they will wire it, not having to explain to collect my money. So that's what cash flow does for you. You have the investing cash flow, and this one comes from your fixed assets. For those of us that have properties, for those of us that have shares, when you get from your dividends and all that. Then you have the financing cash flow. That comes from, these are from big companies now when they sell their shares to raise money. All right, so why is this cash flow important? What's my business? How does it concern me and you? What's cash flow? How does it put food on our table? It enables you to meet up with your existing financial obligations. Both big and small, we all have obligations to meet. Whether you want to buy your airtime, whether you want to put food on your table, whether you want to make that vacation trip, it enables you to meet up with your existing financial obligations as well as plan for the future. I mean, what is all this thing if it has nothing to do with your future? If it's just for this time, why suffer it? It helps you to invest in your business, settle your debts, return money to shareholders, or for those of us that are into hire purchase. It helps you to be able to meet with this need. And more importantly, it provides a buffer against future financial challenges. If you're working or you're in business and, okay, let's say during the COVID era, most businesses did not open. And for like bars and others, they were closed for like 3 months. If your business is closed for 3 months, are you able to survive it? If you're not able to survive it, then there's a problem. So your cash flow is not just, I have money now. It's your ability to sustain yourself. My colleague will always say, Laura, ask yourself this question. If you lose your job today, if you go crippled today, God forbid you have an accident and you go crippled today, of course your family will want to rally around, people will rally around, maybe for 1 or 2 or 3 months. After a while, you become a liability. He said, what then do you do after them? That is why we are having this talk. Not necessarily for you to know what is the meaning of cash flow and all that, but how it impacts you and how you have to plan for the future. Yes. So cash flow is not your profit. It is, profit is only the surplus left after removing your expenses. Cash flow has nothing to do with that. Turn to the next page, please. Please, rather. So let's look at income. So we are looking at the keywords here, the cash flow. We are looking at income. What is income? Money you receive, Abi. So money you receive, especially on a regular basis for work done. Some of us collect salary and we call it income, yes? So there's what we call payment capacity or your net profit. So your income is not necessarily your profit. Your profit is after expense, right? So for those of us that are working, your salary is not exactly your whole profit because you made transport now. So you have some costs that mandatory expenses that you must take away before you can say, okay, this is what is left for me at the end of the month. So income is the actual amount a company earns or the amount received from the customer for goods that were sold or services that was made. Why is this income important? Let me take us back to cash flow. You know, income, another word for income can be turnover. We do turnover. If you go to the bank, you hear turnover. For business people that like taking loan, you know turnover is key. The bank is always asking about turnover. So you see, it's key that you boost your income to be able to assess it. For other banks like my end, we do more of cash flow. And when you have to do your cash flow determines to a large extent the credit decision. So also with your turnover. So for the big minds, for the risk takers that must go far in life, I know they go credit, if you ask me. But it's for the disciplined people. So when you want to go into credits, then you know that you have to build your cash flow and your turnover. Why is this income or turnover very important? Said money, I mean, it can be money, right? Money cannot buy happiness. After all, we are Christians. They say money answers all but money is also the root of evil, Abi. But then it answers all things. Money cannot buy happiness, but it sure can buy security, right? At least you can get security, cover you around, and safety for you and your loved ones. You can go for that vacation you want to go to. Someone went for vacation and I was envying the person and I'm like, this is my dream vacation. Just go around the world and see what the world looks like. So money is needed to pay for the basic necessities of life. That is why you must make money, why you must make income. And what are those things? Your shelter, your food, healthcare, good education. These are basic necessities. That is why income is necessary. Money is important to secure your future and your old age. When you're unable to work, you know why you should have money. That's not when you should have money, but why you should have already worked your way into having it. My sister always say, when I see men in their old age carrying wheelbarrow or struggling, I wonder what they did in their youth. Whatever you do in your youthful age matters a lot. If you choose to play now, you will work later. There are no two ways about it. There's a working time and there's an enjoyment time. So if we choose to enjoy in our youth, then get ready to work at your old age. If you choose to work now, then get ready to relax then. Not all of your profits will you plow back into your business. So there are profits that are meant for, take care of yourself now. We cannot be too serious and make all the whole profit and say because they say financial talk, let's invest everything, you pack everything and put back in your business. No. This life is once. We don't know when we will all go. Somebody brought out some things and said, no, my next of kin. My colleague said, if my brother knows he's my next of kin, he will kill you, because of the benefits he will get. And some of us feel our next of kin are very stupid, and so we just want to eat everything now that we are alive. And if God blesses you with old age, like my father-in-law, 105, I wonder what you will not do when you get old. So you're not necessarily planning for your next of kin, you're planning for yourself. Insurance will always tell you to insure. It's not necessarily for yourself. It's for the future. But if unfortunately you don't get to make that future, your children or your beneficiary will get it. What if you are alive and then you're able to? So you just have to make plans. We have types of income. We have the end income. I don't want to go reading everything. I hope you take your time to go through this too. So we have types of income. We have the end income, and that's the active income, and that's the most common income, the one you get from your salary, from your business, and all that. You have the portfolio and investments income. We are looking at multiple sources, right? So these incomes are gotten through investments, shares. I don't know how many of us do shares. It's not as attractive or lucrative as it used to be. But these are also sources of income for a lifetime. I know my sister got these shares, and most of her moves were from dividends she made from this share, from the shares. Then you have the passive and unearned income, where you get from your rentals and your royalties. What is income stream? Just a regular supply of money that comes from something, anywhere, investments, business, I'm working, I have my online business, I have my rentals I'm collecting. All these sources, multiple sources coming. These are sources of streams of income. And the sources of this income can be from your business, can be from your salary, can be from the interest paid for that dividend you bought. It can be from rent. It can be from gains from appreciated assets. What are appreciated assets? You get a property today and tomorrow this asset is worth, I don't know why, but we'll go there. God will help us. Multiple streams. What are multiple streams? Multiple, as the word is, you just say several. Numerous flows of income or numerous flow of something. That's multiple stream. So we're looking at multiple flow or several flow of money. Money coming from different sites or different sources. I know most of us, if we tell ourselves the truth, Nigeria has not been very favorable. But we know that as much as we are complaining, a lot of people are still testifying. Some people are just buying their own house now, while others are going back to the village. I know when, in that COVID era, as bad as it was a breakthrough for my family. So it depends on how you see it. Some crisis, it's not all crisis for all of us. That's what you call crisis. It's actually a turnaround point for somebody else. So what do? I hope you make use of opportunities when you see them. And it's not as if these opportunities are far-fetched. It doesn't feel like, because they are placed. I was trying to talk to somebody and he said, your husband is because he married a banker, and I laughed. And I said, unfortunately, you are very, 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 very wrong. It's not because he married a banker. I actually met my husband after my secondary school. So he didn't marry a banker. I've known him as far back as 2002. Yes. So he didn't marry a banker. Rather, he molded me and helped me shape my decision. So don't give yourself excuses. We always have reasons for excuses. We have reasons why we fail. And excuses are part of those reasons. You want to give yourself 1,001 reasons why things are the way they are. But the moment you drop those excuses, you will see that you're actually your problem, nobody. It is you, it is your decision. If you want to make it, you make it. If you don't want to. I have 1,001 reasons not to be where I am today. It's your choice. So there was a story of a drunkard father that has 2 sons. And this man will always drink and beat the wife. One of the sons grew to drink and beat the wife. And the other grew to be very responsible and wealthy. And he doesn't take alcohol, but they are of the same father. And one was asking, what happened? It was the same father. One person saw and behaved like his father, and the other looked at the father and vowed never to be like this man. But it was the same father. So we can have the same scenario and different lessons. What are you learning from what you're passing through? Do you really learn? Or do you just pass through it and pray through it and then fall into the same thing again? Because if you don't learn, then there's a problem. So part of what I do, they say, at the end of every project, what are the lessons learned? It is an important document that must be filed for every project you do. There are lessons. What are the things that went well? What are the things that did not go well? Where can you improve? So if you don't know what went well and what did not go well, how then do you improve? So even in our life, in the COVID, in that crisis that you're going through, what did you do? Because if you check it very well, there was something that you didn't do well. What did you not do well? Or what did you do well? Or what is the Lord saying? The Lord will help us. All right, so I have limited time. So why do I need multiple sources of income? Why do we need it? I mean, I'm earning a living, so why do multiple sources of income? What do I want to do with them? It helps you reach your financial goals easily, as it allows you make more money, right? So you can imagine I'm collecting salary, I have bosses on the road and they are giving me income from there. I have rents I am collecting. You can't place me the way you replace yourself that rely on only salary. What I will achieve and what you will achieve are completely different things. But do you know, even that person that relies on only one salary, with discipline can actually achieve more than I with multiple sources. We'll come to it. All right, so multiple sources also help you get closer to your goal. The question is, do you have a goal? Or you have a wish? As I say, if wishes were horses, beggars will ride. So what do you have? Do you have a goal? Some of us just know we want to have a comfortable life. We don't know how, but we just want to be happy. Some of us want to get married. That's supposed to be a settlement point. When we get married to that boy, then you know we have arrived. Then you now become Oriako. Some of our men too want to even really their self. You want to be Oriako. Nobody wants to stress it. So what do? We pray it through. Some of us spend all our time praying. I have come to realize that praying without work is dead. Just as faith without work, even praying without work, you can't do, when you are not a full-time pastor, at least full-time pastors that do this, earn salaries for it. They earn a living for it. You're a businessman and you lock your business for God knows how long. And then you go to church to pray. And when God is bringing that buyer to come, your shop is locked. I was talking to a client that didn't repay his money and he was explaining everything. And your business has been locked for 2 weeks and you are owing the bank. How then do you intend to pay back? Is it miracle? One said Jesus has paid the debt. And we actually thought there was a Jesus that paid. Only to check the system and it wasn't the Jesus we were thinking. It was actually Jesus that paid the debt. So please, there are two different types of debt. He paid the debt. He didn't pay your loan. Okay, wealth. Let's look at wealth. I diverted a bit, so let's look at wealth. We looked at income. You know, you can actually be having income. What is income? So income, I'm working and I earn a living. We had this International Women's Day some weeks back, and I was privileged to lead one of the panels. And while we were talking, a client asked the question, so why are you bankers? You keep talking to people, you keep encouraging people, you keep giving financial advice. But I observe that when you lose your jobs or you resign, after 3 months, they come back begging. And I looked at my colleagues. I said, very good, because I was having a session with one on that. Then you come back begging. You earn the big salaries. You make the big money. When these streams of income are no longer there, in less than 3 months, you go begging. Like you can't even pay your rent anymore. Your children cannot go to school anymore. Feeding becomes a problem. And you're asking, but this person was making money. What happened? We know what happened, but let's run through this. Said wealth is an abundance of valuable possession or money. I underline the word abundance. So it's not just the availability of valuable possession. He said they are abundant, so it has to be in excess, right? It is also a plentiful supply. I like that. Plentiful supply of a particular desirable thing. It could be information. You know, some of us can be wealth, but we can have wealth of information. It could be relationship. Some of us are not rich, but the connections we have, we will never go hungry. So if you don't have money, you don't have connection, you don't have information, what do you have? At least the information, you can already get it on net, listening to news and all that. So what is income versus wealth? Income allows you to satisfy your needs and pursue many other goals as you may deem important. But wealth makes it possible for you to sustain your choices over time. So for income, I earn a living, I go to the office, I make my money, they give me at the end of the month, I am sure I get my fat salary. But you know, before the next month, for real salary earners, you know now, sometimes money people say, we have even eaten the money ahead of the payments. It's just that you are just sure. That COVID time, a lot of people ate their salaries that they've not paid, that they've not worked for, not even not paid, that they've not worked for. But so where it helps you to, it makes it possible to sustain these choices over time. So if you want to be rich, wealth makes it possible for you to sustain it. Now, how can you sustain it? We've already talked about types of wealth. We said financial wealth, where you have more money. We said, okay, let me go through it. Financial wealth, when I have more money, right? You have physical health. You know your health is wealth. And that's about the biggest one. Because, I mean, what's the point of having the money that cannot even cure your sickness? Then you have time. You're not dead. Having time is already a big wealth on its own. You have social, you have relationship. There are some connections, and that's why it's good to maintain relationship. There are some connections that will take you very far. You just need one person to give a recommendation, and that's all. Who do you know? We don't know anybody, we know Jesus, but you have to know him very well, Abi. Then as you know him, you will not know him and lie down on your bed. How am I supposed to know you do X, Y, Z on your bed? So Jesus will tell you what to do and where to stay. You have to position yourself for it. Then you have the mental wealth, and that's your health and spiritual. I always believe the spiritual controls the physical. So after all the talks, without the God factor, we've just made noise, right? Big noise. All right, so we're talking about wealth. And my story about the clients telling me, why then do you people go back after 3 months? And it was like a jam question. You are talking to client and client is asking you this question. And we realized that most of us like living above our means. And that's why we fail. You can sleep to why we fail. Careless lifestyle. I used to have it. It's fine. But I know I don't have it like that anymore. But what will people say? I always drive. If I come around and I'm not driving, people will ask me, where is my car? On several occasions, people have seen me and like, why are you not driving? And I'm like, excuse me. Why am I not driving? I don't drive to work. No, but why? Somebody came to the office and was like, you're supposed to drive now. Why are you not behaving like how do they behave? In the church, I said, well, I'm Chike's wife. I don't know what you're talking about. And some of us just want to live large. Somebody said, this position you occupy is just a seat. The moment you step outside, when you pass through that gate again, the security might not recognize you. I mean, you are just Laura. No longer maybe that branch manager or that head of whatever you think you are. It is just the seat. And the respect you get is for that seat, that position that you carry. It's not for your name. So what you do with it matters a lot. And I was relating, why are you talking to your security like that now? And a security, and I'm like, okay, so these are the worst set of people that can set you up. So you have to play with them. You have to relate with them. If your security sets you up, you are dead. So what do we even feel like? Now, these are people's father, and then you just feel, because I have the money. I was looking at somebody, I was like, anyways, they say coins make noise. Notes don't make noise. Like what you're even matching with, what was hyping the person, I was ashamed on behalf of the person. I don't know what we think we have, but living above means have killed a lot of people. And then because we have to represent, when we come, let them know that. Some people go as far as taking loans to show off. And that's the beginning of their downfall. The problem is not the loan. The problem is what you do with it. We'll come to it. Careless lifestyle. I know a family, and that for this lifestyle, it made me realize that multiple sources of income is not only the solution. If we have multiple sources of income and we are careless, just the way the money is coming, we will squander it all. I know someone that had properties. I said properties. cars, houses, land, and businesses. And you just feel you have arrived. Maybe the person did not feel he has arrived, but then you don't also listen to good counsel, or you don't take advices. And then despite the talk and talk, you know, we are quick to give and let everybody feel like, I'm a kwandaibu. And just like that, sold off everything. You're not selling off to invest. I mean, sometimes you may have properties and when the businesses are not going, you want to sell one to cover up. And then you're selling to still maintain the lifestyle. Great is the downfall, Abby. And they sold and sold and sold and sold even the shelter over them. And today it's almost impossible to pay for rent. Yes. And that was somebody that had multiple sources of income. When I say multiple, I mean multiple. I don't know how many of us make mistakes before we learn. Some people like making mistakes. Even when you finish selling them, they now make the mistake. I don't know if you like testing the mistake to see how it is. But if you want to go far, you need to learn from people's mistake. You learn from people's story. You have those lazy and stubborn people. I call them the oracles. I don't know what our husbands tell us, that we just marry and we just feel like housewife. It was only in home video I used to see housewife. I didn't know it existed in real life. Because in my father's house, you work. I started working at age 22. Yes, that was when I started my job that I am working. You might not be on that same page, but what do you do? What do you do? I might be a tailor. How experienced am I? Do I want to also, we will not all work in the bank. We will not all be medical doctors. We will not all japa to UK and London. But what do you make out of it? There's not somebody, I said the japa is not the problem. I have a problem with going there. What do I do? So it's all of us that you went there does not mean you have made it. But you must have a plan. Otherwise, cuckoo go. Because at least there, no laziness. Here we sit down and we think we have arrived. And the man feels with my few thousands, not million, or thousands, I can cater for the family. You know what? You sit down. Over there, they work. Man, wife, everybody work. So when you go there, I think we are more lazy in this part of the world than out there. And you see where the man works during the day or at night and the woman goes and they walk around the clock. And I was asking them, what changed? What changed? So there's no laziness there. So if you know you don't, you are Oriaku, kuku travel there and make yourself useful and send us pounds. Because there's no Oriaku in achieving things in life. You have the self-centered people. Some of our couples, we have this inferiority complex amongst our husbands. And then you don't want your wife to earn more than you. And you never can tell where your blessings is coming from. We're looking at multiple sources of income. Part of it is your wife. Yes. And that's why she's a helpmate to support you. But some people are already this one. She doesn't even know the value of money. And I'm like, how do you quantify it? How do you know value of money? It's when you start working and making money, you know value of money. You don't sit down at home and make no value of money. If I sit down and all you are doing is give me money, I can spend it. Who does not know how to spend money? Even a baby knows how to spend money. They just need to go to the nearest malam shop and buy what they want. This inferiority complex amongst us, I've observed from indirect discussions and discussions. I had to narrow this to our setting. It is a big one. When I wanted to get married, when the pastor said, if the man has inferiority complex, no matter the grace on his head, don't go. Those are destiny killers. They will kill you for out of jealousy or enviness. So you don't want this person, somebody like, Laura, the wife got a job for 1 million and the husband is earning 300,000. Same job, one person had to resign. And I'm looking at him. I said, who will resign? It's a shame that for us, out of ego, our men will ask their wives to resign. Stupidity, that is actually the word. And I hope we are taking one or two things. Ask yourself. But you know, some of our mothers have also made it very hard. And so we concluded it depends on the people. Because some women, from the gate, you already know they are the breadwinners of the family. Over 90% of women are breadwinners of the family, so we're not doing something new. It's not strange. Some people say, why is it that God has started blessing our wives more than? I don't think it started now. I think it's been there, but only just becoming aware. It has always been there. It's been the mother. Maybe then they used to go to the farm, but the mother will play the own role. But if you have that kind of wife that will earn the 1 million, somebody say, why will I sweat it? But it doesn't have to give you the mind to not be a lazy man, be a miracle man. All your own is to collect, and this is a partnership thing. And there must be understanding. But if the woman is one that is dominating, you know, some women can be funny. So this talk is both to men and women. How you lay your bed is how you lie on it. Remember, your children will be the ones who suffer for it. You have also the family, I call it poor family values, and that's the unsupportive partners. Some partners don't support. There was a day we had a talk in church, and they were like, okay, if there's an expenses, I can't remember how Frank framed that question. I said, if there are expenses, who will pay? And the people were like, even if I have to pay now, you will not pay me back when the time comes. And some of us will actually sit down and for pure water, we are waiting for the man to come. And one was telling me that it's the husband, it's the husband that caters for the family. She's not doing anything, She's healthy, she's okay, she doesn't have a nursing baby. And it's the husband, so it's whenever he has. So things are not good. You rather send your children as slaves than get up and work. Because it's the husband that should feed the family. I don't know if it's written anywhere. I'm coming from the point of finance. I'm not coming from the point of the Bible. Yes. I don't know if it's written anywhere, but I also hope you know that these kids are yours and they're also part of your source of income. Investing in your children is a very big source of income. My story told me that. So if you think it's the man's own, if he doesn't have, then everybody go on hunger strike. We go on hunger strike. And tomorrow that child will go and look for food to eat because he or she did not come to this world to die. And they do all sorts of things. And you hear some people say, my child went to work, and you're looking at the child that went to work, and the woman cannot tell you that he doesn't know the kind of work that this child is doing. Because there's some work that when you even look at the child, and you look at the mother, don't even waste your time. Fathers and mothers, a failed home is already a failed finance, in my own word. If you are not going to hold the family front strong, that's the beginning of failure for me. I have a story for that. I will come back. Poor communications. A lot of men have lost their money to good banks and many bankers because they dare not tell their wives. They dare not carry their wives along. The wives have money and their husband will never know. There is no food in the house, but you see that money, we will keep it. And I'm not wondering who they are keeping it for. Maybe the man should not eat. It went viral last week, and there was this man that died, and they said, what killed him? He couldn't pay the daughter's school fees, 2 of the daughters, and he committed suicide. And someone made a comment and said it was so painful that the wife has actually paid. Well, asked the school to pressure the man because she wanted a refund. And when I saw it, and said she should be glad now. Right? Case said to that, at least now she would not be the one paying it willingly. She has actually paid, but is mounting pressure on the school to collect it from the man. And the man, maybe he's living above his means, doesn't know how to tell the wife, or maybe the wife is also that one that's the blade in the mouth. Some of us have blade in the mouth. But he killed himself. And that's, for me, is a failed wife. I don't know how you classify it. I don't know the story. But you have already failed. You have failed your children. You have failed. Sometimes I feel some men. I told somebody, I said, if all your husband gains from you is sex, he's miserable. If the only thing you can bring to the table is sex, no advice, no good advice, no support, nothing, he can always get it outside. And that's the bitter truth. If that is all you have to offer, then you have nothing to offer. You are not that virtuous wife the Bible talked about in the Bible. Let's not deceive ourselves. We come to church and we pray it and we pray it. Sometimes what the unbelievers do, I don't know if they are better than us, but their ideas sometimes. I think it's even in the church, so if we're having more divorce. Impatient, we're intolerant. My husband, It's everywhere. It's not your husband. A colleague asked me for 2 days break. He said, BM, please, I need to take leave for 2 days. I'm like, well, you just came back from sick leave. What happened? And she was insisting on 2 days. I don't know why. I said, no, I won't give you 2 days. What happened? And she just needed 2 days to break a marriage of 17 years. I said, are you kidding me? I will sign your leave to go and break your marriage. We work here. And what was the issue? Very petite. Little things. And when she started sharing it, I started laughing because I also do it, consciously and unconsciously. I'm like, it's not your husband, I do this. I said, so why will you do it? I said, am I a bad person? She said, no. I said, but I do it. You just made me understand now. So now I can already picture how my husband is feeling when I do this thing. And it was a turnaround for me. I said, but why will you do it? I'm like, why do it? And for me, I don't see it as much of a big deal. And that's what your husband is doing, and you're going to break up. And that was our both turnaround. So we had to talk about it. I said, but I don't see it as a big deal. Maybe your husband is also not seeing it as a big deal. So maybe we need to talk about it. And then she saw my husband, and then they say, she's my student, oh. Make sure she change. XYZ I've told her. And then I say, is she improving? You will say, yes. I say, okay. Yes, that's a subordinate. You can get advice from anybody. I don't know who you're listening to. Some people just feel like the people that can talk to you are. Congratulations. We also have the receive only. Okay, I was talking about poor communication and transparency, I would say. Some of us, our spouses, they're not know. You know why? Spouses could be the man, it could be the woman. Because anytime they know, yeah, we will eat, we will buy, they shall be spend it. Until that money is zero. Either the man or the woman, one person will not rest. If they just know that there is money coming in, we are not investing it, oh, we will eat it until it finishes. And as a result, and sometimes, because of some of us, we think we are being smart and we have money in our accounts, we don't want to tell anybody. Nobody knows. The day you will die, nobody will also know. And the bank, a lot of money that the bank has that nobody will ever claim, because you don't even know. So at the end of the day, who did you work for? Aren't you just being, I don't know, let's say foolish? So you just work for a complete stranger, an entity, and one fraudulent banker will help you because only the banker knows that my client is dead. Wife does not know. Siblings does not know. Next of kin, nobody knows. And so the banker will help you and the banker will become rich. So what did you achieve? Nothing. So the choice to make the change is yours. Nobody will make that change for you. The time to make it is now, and you have to be intentional about it. So we have golden rule to make this work, and he said, don't spend more than you earn. But if you had a section on this some time ago, before she died, before ahead of your salary, you have spent your money. And it's more common with salary earners. And I observed I was having this issue, and so I resorted to loans. I was like, come, how do we make things? How much do you discuss with your husband? I said I met my husband after secondary school. Some people were, He prayed for me to get the job I work. And I told somebody, I said, I'm riding on his grace. Where I'm growing, I know what he stands in the gap to do. So I don't need you to be the multi-million naira husband. But we need to have that mutual relationship. Daddies and mommies, we have to go back to the drawing board. It is never late. But it starts from the family. It starts from the family. Don't spend more than you earn. If you have to take loan, especially when you have the good cash flow, somebody said, Laura, if you want to achieve anything now is now. This is a time you can get access to these loans that you want. This is the time, your active years, where you are working and you can repay this loan. After now, you are even privileged because you are like this. After now, you won't have that access. Is it your old age you want to start repaying loan? Is that your retirement age? So for those of us that have access to very long maturity loans, blah, 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 can you start it now? I was talking to somebody, I said, if I had known, if you had told me these things 5 years ago, that's my own. What do you do with the information you have now? When we wanted to get our property, there was one my husband took us to, thanks to God, too much money. And I got there and I looked at the land. It was 700. And I told my husband, are you telling God you don't want to have a car? It was small. And they tried to convince me. They said, come, by the time we finish building this thing, they will. I said, no, there's no car park. And we left it. The next time we were passing there, when I saw what somebody built on that land, I started arguing with my husband. I said, it's not this place. And then the person made a portable duplex there with pillars, and then you can park under. For 700,000, and I couldn't cry. I couldn't cry. And then I said, don't look down on anything. And some people say, it's very far. And that's the same mistakes we bankers make, we workers make, we people make. Oh, it's very far. I can't go to that place and live. You can stay in your banana island. You can stay in your Surulere. But when the chips are down and you can't afford it again, you always go to the Songo to live. So why not start from the Songo to own the place? I know people that pay millions as rent. Why not start from there? Well, I told somebody, I said, okay, buy it, build it. It's not as if you can't afford it and you're like, no, but I can't go there. I'm like, okay, fine. Why not build it, rent it out, use the rent and the servicing your luxurious lifestyle. Let the rent from what you build there be paying the banana island. Then if tomorrow there is a need and it doesn't work again, oh yeah, carry yourself and go back to that place. But some of us will from banana island and go back. I'm even using banana island, it's very far. Which place do we have around? Yanakaja. And then they will go back to that Songo, not as landlords, but tenants. I don't know who you're talking to, but you have to make up your mind. I'm not an Ajibo. I'm not a product of Ajibo. Some people like, you know, when things are working for some people, it just feels like it is. I don't know who the story is for, but when I knew something, I knew I was born in a face me, I face you. I visited one of us in a face me and I noticed she was uncomfortable. I said, see this human being. I lived in a face me, I face you for years. And it got so worse that from the face me, I face you, we moved to an uncompleted building. I met my husband in an uncompleted building. I'm not telling you stories to make you happy. I am telling you my life story. I don't know if you came there. Not just your regular uncompleted building, but in a swampy area. Like sometimes when we're coming back from school, we see snakes. Once I had to see snake with my twin sister, not a snake, a python. And it was crossing, and we were waiting for it to go. And after it, also, we started running home. Yes, that is the story. That is my story. If I have to tell you my story. But I draw my source from my mother. I don't know who you draw your source from. And that's why, really, to a large extent, I hold mothers accountable. She stood despite all odds. Some of us will say, maybe she was only a teacher, a government teacher. But she knew one of her investments had to be her children. She had all daughters. But her husband did not see them as daughters. He had sons. Some of us attended his burial. And the relations that my mom was always afraid of came and said, you people buried your father like men. I don't know what goal you have. But my sister will say, this. When I will come to the house, say, this is our father's house. We cannot be held accountable for our father's house. But your children will hold you accountable for your own house. So this is where you are coming from. Where you will end up, you decide it. And so she will say, you will walk your way through. It wasn't easy. If I tell you my life story, I don't know your excuse. Somebody was just giving me an excuse, and I was just looking at the person and I was laughing. I said, see this one, what is it that you think you're going through? Oh, my husband is not supporting, ba 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 ba. Your children will demand it. If you do not train your children, we are diverting from finance, but the children is also finance. From my mother, I learned that the children are also a source of income. She paid the price to invest in her children, and she's enjoying it. If she had lived her life then, I can't kill myself. My father was wealthy. They told me, because I did not see it. Yes, he's a first-class graduate. When you say somebody is a scholar, it's a respected. Some of us attended the burial. But the enemy struck. I had a drunk as a father. So what is your story? For years, for every time he got a big appointment, as little as a cup of alcohol will take him off balance. For every time he got a mind blow, and he always gets it. He was very intelligent. But I had a mother that stood. And so from the flats, he was wealthy. And from the flats, marriage of maybe 1 year, 2 years. What is your story again? And from the flats, they went to face me, I face you, because when I knew something, it was face me, I face you. So maybe only my elder sister, but I wonder what she will know, because she was just a year. And I saw a mother stand in the gap till date. I saw a mother ensure that even the streets, even in his burial, nobody could even relate him to a drunk. He was not your regular, I mean when you say drunk, as in drink and we go carry him on the road. Yes, that is my story. And I lived with that man, but then that man knew something was wrong. Maybe if we knew what we knew today, and we had to pray and pray and pray, we would have been able to pray it out. Yes, because every time he called his relation, oh, I've gotten this job. He says, my time is almost up. But I'm trying to talk to us. Some of us who feel our husbands are not supportive. But we have mothers. How supportive are you? Because you also decide how the family funds will be. My mommy stood and we did not know who the breadwinner was. We don't need to know who the breadwinner is. The community did not need to know who the breadwinner is, so they dare not insult her husband. And he gave him the morale to stand again. And he made sure that he played his own part. So even as a father, if you're unable to meet up, of course you need the support of the wife, not a nagging wife. Not a razor-mouthed wife, not a razor-mouthed husband. Some of us, with our mouth, we criticize our spouse. With our mouth, with what we say. I want to round up. If I go into my family story, we will not live here. But mothers, I am sorry, I still hold you accountable. What are the tips on help creation? You have to make up your mind. I don't know what your story is, but I have more stories. The doctor was talking, and the doctor finished talking. And when I told the doctor my story, he said, why are you smiling? And I didn't know whether to cry or to answer him. And I looked at the doctor. I said, because I don't look like where I'm coming from. You can't break me. You can't take it away from me. I refuse to look like where I'm coming from. No. You can't take away my smiles. I won't say because I have 3 miscarriages. It doesn't end the world. No. It won't take away my... The second time, my mom said, don't let anybody see you cry. Don't give the enemy that joy. And that day, I knew there was nothing life would throw at me that will shake me. So if you think it's a ritual, of course it is a ritual. But you have to know where you are performing the ritual. Our gathering here is already a ritual. Or why else did you leave the comfort of your house to come here? You have to make up your mind. To make up your mind, you have to be determined. Set goals. You have to be determined. What do you want? You have to be focused. So you have had this story now. What is it? What is this man doing? What is this woman doing? How do I make the best out of it? You have to be focused. You have to be disciplined. Discipline is the key word. And that is why the story I told us first, the man with the multiple source of income, there was no discipline. And so for every need, he was selling off. For every need, he was selling off. Until he sold his shelter. I and my husband are among those that took him to a property. Buy this one. No. I don't like how it is. I don't like how it is. Today, to pay rent is a challenge. Be disciplined. Be prudent. Life will ask you all those things. It can be in the next 5 years. It can be in the next 10 years. It can be in the next 200 years. 200, nobody will be here by then. Set clear goals. What are your goals? What do you want to achieve? Is it a property you want to buy? When we got ours, it was 1.8, and somebody like, you're not even big. It's inside. As of last year, the landlord opposite us sold his own, and same size was 8.5. I told my sister then to buy, and she was like, pretty expensive. And by the time I told her 8.5, she said, are you kidding me? 8.5 was what they sold last year. And that was 2015. We got it 2015. And it's 8.5. Land will always appreciate. Property will always appreciate. Do you want to go into that direction? Set clear goals, but make them realistic. Something you can measure. What do you want? If you want to build, even if it's in the village, you can already start molding your block now. What is that business you want to go into? Set your goals. Then start working towards them. Break those goals into milestones and timelines. Give yourself timelines. What do I want to achieve from now to now? Don't say this year. Yes, this year I want to have maybe ₦1 million in my account. How do I do it? If I divide it per day, how will it be? Can I go with Ajo? How do I build this thing? Some of us are afraid of loan. I take loan. I tell people loan is not for the faint-hearted. You have to be disciplined and know what you want to use it for. So when I take loan and you think I have money I don't want to give you, you're cross. I don't take loan for the fun of it. I take loan when there's something to do and I see it. We repay loan. Sometimes the interest can be killing. Sometimes it's choky, but you have a target. And when you are done paying it, you look at those properties and you look at the loan, you'll be grateful you did it. Set let go. Celebrate yourselves when you achieve even the little milestones. And so you're working towards that goal you're setting. I don't know the goal. Some of us have our properties, and that's not the goal. Some of us, I cannot buy property. The person that provoked me to go into this property thing was a subordinate. That was a teacher before he came on job, and it was only 60,000, and he had the property. And I looked at the guy, say, man, for every time they pay me salary, I will just go and do small block and keep it. My father used to be rich. But when life dealt with him, he didn't build anything. From Bode Thomas, we went to Meron. So I vowed to myself that I will start building from Meron back to Bode Thomas. I will not start life in Bode Thomas. And so he started from Canada. I said, Canada land is too far. So that's what if my father had even built them in that far place, would have had a house. He actually moved to his mechanic's house. That was a rich man. He packed to his mechanic's house. And I looked at the guy. 90% of our drivers are landlords. And I'm looking at drivers owning the property. I say, no. What will you now say? You live in the choicest area and you pay the rent. And 3 months from now, they will demand of you and you start explaining. Make set goals. Work out your goals. What goals do you want to achieve? Work it out. Those things that you have set. How do you work it out? You develop yourself. Learn a trade. Some of us are more comfortable getting salaries of 20,000 naira than learning a trade. If you learn how to sew, nobody will take it away from you. Now, sewing is even very expensive. When I was waiting for my youth service, my mommy had to chase. I had to go and learn how to sew. I have machine in my house. I sew. It is time. I draw my design. Before tailor will say, I will draw it and give you what you make. My twin had to learn how to make hair. The younger one had to learn how to make hair. You can't sit idle. You don't know where life will throw you to. Tomorrow, those experiences, you can't take it away. It's just, if tomorrow, if there's a need to it, it's to go and brush back, not to start from the beginning. There's no time that is late. Relate with like minds. What do you want to achieve? Who are those that are in line with it? Mpompo will not allow some people break their this now. When you look at the people feeling Mpompo, you want to ask questions. Like, what do you have? Relate with like minds. Take new opportunities. When you see opportunities, leave fear alone. I got a job and I called one of us and I said, and they were like, what will I price? I gave her a price. I said, salary is too much. I just deleted the chat and I stopped chatting. I told my husband, I said, this supernatural growth that mommy talked about, how will it be? This is somebody that just got an opportunity and I'm giving you a price range, like an insider story, and you are here shouting, it's too big. I said, it's like this supernatural growth is not for all of us. Take new opportunities. Revive that passion. What is that passion in your heart? What is that thing you want to achieve? Revive it. It's never too late. When I had our International Women Day, the woman was like, I have always wanted to do pound yam. I know how to do it, and I was discussing with my daughters, and we were just talking about it, and 3 years later, Ayola Pando came out, and my daughter was like, mommy, see that thing, oh. Another client countered her. He said, people have not stopped eating pound yam. It can be Ayola, you can bring out your own Laura Pando. The only thing is we here should start buying from Laura, and Laura will go round. That's networking. She said, I know how to make tissue, I know how to make serviettes, but because of my children's studies, they were in university, I had to drop it. When they finished, I went back to it. Are people not still using tissue? Are they not using serviettes? There's always a market for it. So what is that passion? Sometimes when I see people, palm oil now is not sealed. I'm like, when did you get there? Even Gary is sealed. What is that thing you're doing? You have to take your business to the next level. Ask questions. Speak out. Ask questions. Seek good counsel. You might have good ideas and you don't know how to harness them. 5 minutes more, thank you. You don't know how to harness them. Revive that passion. That was one thing my daddy did. My dad was very, very intelligent. When you say somebody has brain, it's very, very good. He represents in debates and all that. All I need, if he was alive, this topic, he will prepare it. All you just need to do is give him the topic. And you are sure to win. He imparted it. But a lot of us have ideas that we are going to die with. It's not a cause. Because you feel that child does not have the head to take it. He imparted it. Sometimes when I see my nephew, the grades that guy is bagging and the certificate is bagging in US. For every time there's a story, my mommy will tell you, this is my husband. Why? There's a story. Impart it back. So that idea, sell it to your children if you cannot do it. If you are too old to do it. I don't think anybody here is old enough to stop earning a living. Speak out, ask questions, see good counsels, and above all, be spiritual. God first, and you have to sow sacrificially. Sometimes we like taking. I hope you know in receiving, your hand is just busy, you don't give, and you don't know there are blessings with giving. Most of the blessings, that's why when I think I see they say it's ritual. When I looked at it, I said, but it's ritual now. What do you think we are doing again? And you come here and you sing, Abi, is it not ritual? Is it not ritual that you left the comfort of your bed and came here? Abi, what are you doing? So there are two ways they do rituals. Those people go to their shrine. This is our own, that we have come. Then what have you come to tell God? Or you have just come to eat the rice and all the contributions that we gathered. And we eat it. This is our Easter retreat. We just panic, we dance, and then we go back. Then you just come to waste your time. You'll just stay back home and sleep. You so sacrificially. Sometimes sins are called and you don't even know when to key into it. Some of us, they don't start to raise money again. But in it lies your blessings. Sometimes you don't come out because you have money. When we were planning my daddy's burial, they called for a seed. And my husband was giving me something to go, and I was like, but you know, the amount we shared for ourselves. I was like, go for it. And there was no money. And we raised more than, in short, we did an expense more than 300% what the budget was. I think that was when Reverend Paul Chike came to the church. What do you sacrifice? Those people that do the ritual, sacrifice things. I don't even watch it in movies. They go and they sacrifice things in return for, what are you sacrificing? Or you just come and you pray to God. Of course, He hears your prayer, but what is your sacrifice? Because those sacrifices speak. And that is where we draw our strength. Of course, when you go professionally, you don't mix the Bible or religion with it. But there's always a God factor. And outside God, even the little things you do, sure you know, they will mean nothing. But with Him, He magnifies those little things, just like, why are they hyping it? It's not just this small thing I did. There's always a God. So you always pray to God. And you make sacrifices. For moves, you make sacrifices for it. I don't know if there's room for questions and answers, but I know my time is fast spent. Sister Vivian, do I have time to take questions and answers? I don't know if we have. 3 questions. 2. I don't know if you have questions, but they said 2 questions. Otherwise, I'll just drop the mic. It could be a contribution. I'm not an island of knowledge. We learn here, and that's why we're gathered. We're talking about money, and I know Igbo men, we know money more. You want to ask? Come, please. So we have 1. Is that all? So we just, okay, 2. All right.
Praise God. This is my question. For little children, like teenagers, who want to go into investment kind of programs, like borrowing loan, and then using it to earn, and then able to pay back and have some profit left. Okay, let me give an instance now. Okay, first off, can a teenager borrow loan? Yes.
Can a teenager borrow?
Yes.
All right, so I know the regulation is 21 years and above. So when you say teenagers, that's below the year. So I don't think any bank will want to, except you want to go online, and those loan sharks, I don't know. But the regulation is 21. 21 is not a teenager, it's an adult. So can an adult borrow? I will say yes.
Okay. So for instance now, an adult borrows a sum of money to buy an asset, that is a land, and he promises the bank to pay the following year. So for instance, the person is actually 21 years. The person borrows a sum of 18 million if it's possible. Is it possible, ma'am?
What exactly is your question?
My question is a young child.
Please, let's listen.
A young child, okay, let me say a young adult who wants to go into making money at a younger age, and borrows loan to buy a land, knowing that the price would increase at a certain time, a certain year or certain month. So is it advisable that such person borrows loan, knowing that he does not have money to pay?
No, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so even for these assets we are talking about, I hope you know asset is not also your cash flow. It is only part of your cash flow. So if I have a rented apartment and I lose my job today and they pay me annually, it is until the money comes, Abi, but I need to eat every day. So you have to have a daily income, something you eat, because you won't eat that house. That you have properties everywhere, you will eat it. So you still need to invest. So for your questions, can an adult borrow? Yes. Now for some banks, you must have a business. You must be earning an income to borrow because you will pay from it. For some others, they do grassroots. And maybe you want to buy maybe a truck, blah, 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 and they give you, withhold the papers. So this is why I say speak out. When you speak out, you know what suits you. But when you want to also borrow to buy land, that's risky. You won't want to borrow to buy land. So what I advise is you have a business, you are sure of your food. Land is an asset. Now, you want to buy the land to just leave it. No, that's not an ideal thing to do. But if I am working and I have my income and a part of the income I want to borrow, now most of these loans you pay monthly. For a few of them, depending on the kind of business, I know for some schools and blah, blah, you have the quarterly, so it depends on the loan terms. But I don't think any bank will just give you money and say pay after 10 years. No. So you must make at most a quarterly repayment. So you must have a steady source of income to be able, and they will assess you. You will not just say because you have this idea, the bank will just give you 18 million. A 21 years can get 100 million. It depends on what the person has. Some people have good businesses. They will assess you and they will give you what they think you're worth. So you must have a worth. Yes. Next question.
You said that cash flow.
I can't hear you.
You said that cash flow is the movement in and out. This is the movement in and out of a business. That is, I want to ask this question: that how does cash flows related to money?
How is cash flow related to money? So it's a movement over a period of time, not just the movement. So you're buying and you're selling. Whether they pay into your accounts, whether they give you by cash, whether you're paying your suppliers or you're receiving from your creditors, these are cash flow. How do they go? It's money now. It's money that is moving. The only thing we are seeing is how this flow goes. So what the bank might want to look at is how is your income coming in, how is the expenses going out. It tells us what your turnaround is. Oh, this business is very lucrative. If we give X, Y, Z, this person can turn around the money in. So for your business, some of us don't even keep records. When you keep your record of your sales, you even have a fair idea of what you sell in a day. You have an idea of what goes in. You know what you buy. You know when you have to pay blah, 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 blah. These are the movements, and it is what we call cash flow, but it's not for a day. For some, it's for a month, for a quarter. It's for a period of time. And that flow is money that is flowing. Yes. I think we have tried for today. Thank you for your time, and I don't know who the story is. Ouch. One question. Can we? But I just hope we took one or two things. Let's hear you.
Sorry, I wanted to ask that as we young students or we youths, what kind of asset is okay for us to obtain?
To pay.
Like to get.
What kind of asset?
Yes.
My younger sister has 2 properties and a car. She's not married. I mean, when you work and you make money, what can you not achieve? I see clients, young clients, that didn't even go to school, but they started business early. And when I see their shops, I marvel. So there's no limit to what you can get, but you have to also be doing something. So when you say, as a young person, is it your father's money you want to invest, or are you doing something? So if you're not doing something as a young person, I know we have a lot of online businesses you can do to improve your income. But if you mean the assets you want to get, then you need to have the money to get an asset. So I'm just wondering, is it your daddy's money, your money? But if it's your money and you have businesses, you can do properties. You can do trade. You can do online if you choose to. Some of us are sitting here and our money is counting somewhere on our behalf. Some people have trucks on the road. I see colleagues, they do this, what do you call it, delivery van. And you just get to a company, you pay, get a truck, a van and everything, and they pay you monthly. Those are sources of income. There's 1,001 thing we can do with money. I want to thank us for our time. I think I've exceeded my time.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Keep clapping, celebrate her.